What's going on?
We can't hear you quick. Oh, well, while he goes to figure out what's going on. No, we can't hear you. I can read your lips, but I can't hear you.
And while we are dealing with all the different technical difficulties, I am your girl, Just Star. What up, though, people? Mwah.
Oh, okay. And I am the Blue Phoenix, fucking with my daughter. Hey, everybody.
And I'm blue. Da boom dee dum dum da dum da dum dee dum da. No dead air. No dead air. It ain't even how y'all
All right.
doing.
No, no dead air.
How y'all doing out there today, people? And
Yeah.
Phoenix, how are you?
I'm good today. I'm braiding my daughter's hair. I'm about to send her to the store so she getting us frustrated. But how about you?
Can you hear me?
There we go. He's
All
in.
right, y'all know what it is. Villain in the White Mask, your boy K BBF. We in here, and I'm assuming the ladies already introduced themselves. Am I correct?
We did. We did.
All right, well, cool. So I guess I'm the last in line today. That little miss technical difficulty in the beginning. Let's stricken that from the records. That never happened. Okay.
Remix.
No. That will not be a clip that we posted. Anyways, how are y'all doing this lovely?
I'm
You
doing
doing
good.
good. But yeah, at the
All
same time.
so
Twin
yeah, y'all
powers
pretty.
activate.
Right.
All right, so what new child do you have this week, Wheezy?
Well, I
Phoenix.
sent my nephew back. He back with his mama, so I'm just have my children right now.
Ah, okay, I can't tell. For real, all of your kids look like every kid you have over your house look like your kids. So I can't tell now at this point.
I agree. She is definitely the original copy and paste.
Mhm.
But Xerox.
Your family is where the idea of clones came from.
You know what? That makes sense because even with not necessarily my immediate family, but my cousins, somebody looked like my great grandmother, and then my grandmother, then my aunt, then my grandfather. It's like everybody looked like everybody.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I can tell. Oh
I
man.
definitely feel like Phoenix is one of the descendants of Henrietta Lacks. For those of you who don't know who that is,
Ooh.
Google her.
Henrietta Lacks. We're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to change your profile pic.
But you know what? That's funny you brought her up because we was just talking about her yesterday on Reese's show, the Morning Mac show. But yes, it felt like that. It feels like that sometimes.
So, man, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been having a whole lot of time to think, because we are pretty much what 4 months in now to 2025, and just looking at everything in broad spectrum here, and this is for all the federal workers here. As of today, there are a total of 200, according to CNN, 280,253 layoffs. The,
Wow.
the layoff rate has not been this high since peak pandemic.
That is
That's a
so
lot of
heavy.
people.
That's a lot of people who are now jobless, unemployed. And for real, things are about to get a little sketchier because I personally just found out today. I'm not quite sure when the news broke, but I just found out today that let me see. Yeah, I found out today that Elon Musk is actually leaving, the cabinet or whatever position that Trump put him in. He's leaving that. He's not going to be a part of that. So I don't know where that leaves the whole Doge thing and so on and so forth. But he is a big part of, or at least he's the face of a lot of this hubbub that's been going on for the beginning part of this year. So, what do you think that will lead to? Like, knowing that he was Trump's right hand man, now that he's leaving, and what he's leaving behind is well over 250,000 people out of a job. Like, where does this possibly go here?
Shoot, was he part of that over 200,000 people being laid off?
Beats me. I don't think even if he was, I don't think billionaires had that problem.
I think, and as everybody should know by now, I am a huge conspiracy theorist. I think the people who plan on taking Trump out said, look, if you don't want to get assassinated with him, get your ass out the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he did.
Whoo, that took a drastic turn. But
I'm just keeping it as real as I see it. Perception is everything to each individual person. And my perception is that after all the BS that Trump done pulled, they ready to get him out of there.
I mean, and for real, like, you're right. I mean, perception, especially if we're just looking at everything from the outside looking in with minimal detail really given, aside from what we dig and find for ourselves, I can definitely see how the conspiracies can just roll on in. Is, especially given the history of just what happened during the electoral race alone.
Oh, yeah. And while we are on the subject of Trump, shout out to all the villagers known as African Americans. What you are currently doing with Walmart is beautiful. Thank you.
Love it.
We appreciate you. They are now billions of dollars in the hole. Keep on leaving those shelves, those aisles empty, and those shelves full. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-mm. And so, yeah, definitely big ups to that. We sticking to it. And in addition to all of this, these tariffs and all this good stuff are causing everything to skyrocket in price. So, and for real, I've been listening to like little debates and all that kind of stuff between civilians, rather, who, thanks to the internet, everybody's all of a sudden a political expert. But different the conversation. But I still find it very interesting. Right when I think there is no possible way anybody can defend the person, the party that holds the office right now, or the person or the president that holds the office right now, there are people who are sticking 10 toes down and are finding a way to justify their vote.
Well, common sense is not common.
I give you that. But then on the flip side, there's also,
they're gonna find some type of way to say something. It don't even matter. You can tell them that if you go outside and turn left, go right enough the hill, you're gonna find a Lucky Charms, and they're gonna go do
it. But then on the flip side, there have also been people who have denounced their support. So, I mean, hey, but I was actually shocked when I read this number. Granted, I knew the layoff count was high, but over 250,000 is nasty work. This is 280,000 here.
It's truly unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. And the way I look at it, we're in 2025. I personally believe there's no such thing as a middle class anymore, because it's either you are part of that 1% who is filthy wealthy, or you're poor. Because anybody who considers themselves, let's just entertain the middle class category. If you consider yourself middle class, or if we look at people who consider themselves middle class, everybody, and I'm saying everybody who falls in that category is literally one bad situation away from being flat on their back pockets. It just takes one bad situation, i.e., 280 layoffs. If you and granted, when these things happen, they happen without one. Because granted, all these things get dumped on people out of nowhere. You get the ultimatum, or you just say, "All right, this week, next week, your position is dissolved." And granted, there's no time for you to back up a plan B. So now you're literally backed up against the wall. One unfortunate situation left you unable to cover any expenses.
My question is this. If they can remove almost 300,000 positions in the government, were they were they even worth having them in those positions? See, if you can remove people like that, that means either you have something coming that can replace them, or those jobs weren't even needed, which of course we know they were. But I'm just saying the way. Go ahead.
No. Finish your thing.
The way that it is happening, it's like it makes it seem like they weren't important in those positions, And what are you going to replace those people with, or what are you putting in position to do those things that you took them out of?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I
Well, let's
firmly
talk
believe
about it.
they're on their way into putting computers and robots into those positions. They needed to clear the way for that. They absolutely said that they are implementing those things. And to piggyback off what we were saying earlier, if you remember correctly, just 2 short shows ago, I reminded our listeners that Elon Musk is from South Africa, the S in BRICS. If their goal is to no longer need the US dollar, the fastest way to do that would be to collapse the US dollar. And I
Of course.
believe that's what Elon was attempting to do. And now that he has put that ball in motion, he doesn't need to be in that position anymore. That's what I believe.
That actually, well, yeah, that actually makes like I said, a whole lot of sense when you're looking from the outside in here. So hold on, where in the world did Weezip go?
Where in the world? It is Carmen San Diego. Oh, I'm definitely showing my age
You
with that.
just well, yeah, all our age. I remember watching that. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons was the bomb back in the day.
Yeah.
But I will say, man, it literally took less than 4 months to put us on the precipice of recession. You know, we,
They've been waiting to literally find one singular solitary person in office that they can blame all of that on. The sad thing about it is Trump is so power hungry that he didn't even realize that they fatten him up. He might as well be the pig. They're fattening him up for slaughter.
I mean, yeah, but if he let his followers tell it, or let his supporters, the maggots, the MAGA people tell it, they will never ever put any kind of blame on him. It always has to do with something that happened in Biden's presidency, Obama's presidency, everything that does not have anything to do with this current term of presidency.
That's okay. Ignorance is comfortable, but a lot of times people forget that it's also often painful. What's going to end up happening when he finishes up these 4 years, he has officially done his 8 years. He's going to try to find some way, whether it be sending us to war or whatever, to stay in office. It's not going to work The House is gonna become mostly Democrats again. The Senate mostly Democrats again. We're gonna get another Democratic president, and then all of these things that he pardoned himself for, everything that he was convicted of, they're gonna go after him. Watch what I tell you. And no, I'm not a psychic. I'm just watching the way things are moving, and I guarantee that more than likely that's the way it's gonna go.
Well, only thing we can do is like I said when everything first happened, kick back, eat your popcorn, figuratively, and enjoy or not enjoy the show.
Hey, listen, I can do the hell out of that new dance boots on the ground. All I need to do now is buy me a fan to click.
I ain't gonna hold you. Stanice got like 10 of them fans, different colors and stuff. Like she mainly just carried one around because it was out at work, but now that this dance came about, it just gave her a reason to get more of them. It's just her thing now. Yeah, it's wild. It might just be a Virgo thing. I bet you a Virgo invented that dance. Is that why you like it so much? That why y'all like it?
Listen, I don't know. That might be a Virgo thing. But speaking of me, all of our listeners that can hear the sound of my voice, I want to take a moment to say thank you for all of you reaching out, your prayers, your condolences, your love. I appreciate all of that. Thank you very much.
Yes. And yeah, I'm glad, and I'm soon. Hopefully, the family and everybody is doing well too at the moment.
Yeah, it's an adjustment, when a matriarch passes on,
Mhm.
but what I can honestly say is for every moment that she got on my nerve when she was still living, she made sure to instill some really, really good stuff in us all that we can take and carry on. And I do
Indeed.
life after death, and if that's true, she has spent a lot of time letting her presence be known here in my house.
That's
I
great, great,
have
great.
Yes, I have her obituary framed and sitting on a stand, and I often see it turned around, fell over sideways, and all types of stuff when nobody has been in that area of the house. So I believe
Uh,
she's saying I'm just fine.
Sounds about right.
So let's get into these topics, sir. What is topic number one? Because I am ready to roll.
Well, firstly, let's get into a little bit of this pop culture situation. Ladies and gentlemen, your man Kanye West is outside again. You know what I'm saying? Have you
Why?
seen the recent happening stuff?
Unfortunately, I did. And
Well,
all I can say is, where's this man's straight jacket and ball gag? Where?
all right. Well, for everybody who is not abreast on the current events involving Mr. Ye, he recently did an interview with DJ Academics, and plus we already know about all the stuff he's been posting on
If you don't
Twitter.
stop calling that man by the wrong name, his name is not Academics. He is Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Shout out to Erica Badu. Oh man. But anyhow, all right, DJ Jerry, whatever. But anyways, when he did this here interview, and this interview is a hour long for media purposes, I forced myself to sit through it. This man wore an all black KKK outfit, hood and all, folks, hood and all. And before he even put the outfit on, he had a chain where the pendant was the shape of a swastika. That's one. And then when they were setting up the room to do the interview, he literally changed into a black KKK outfit and went on a full verbal rampage and dropped every name that has ever been associated with him. And I just found out today via the Breakfast Club that due to a record that he just recently dropped, that his wife Bianca allegedly left him. Apparently, it's not alleged due to other sources that have confirmed this. But being that I don't have, you know, the sources to confirm myself, I'll just say alleged. But allegedly left him. But all in
Let's
all,
be completely honest before you move too far away from that.
go
Didn't we
right
see
ahead.
that comment?
I mean, yeah, I did.
He made
I
this
ain't
girl
gonna.
cut her hair short and dye it blonde so that she didn't look like Kim Kardashian. And then
Showed
he
up
literally
naked on the red carpet.
he making the woman walk around nude. Like, come on, man.
Literally.
You
Huh.
feel me? Like,
So you feel like all of this was his doing. She didn't have any say in it at all. It was mainly the idea and creation of Kanye, like all these antics that he involved his wife in.
absolutely. Do I think she was an unwilling participant? No. Because anybody can say no. You being his wife doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. But I don't believe that's something that she wanted to do or even thought of. If you ask my personal opinion, I think that he was trying to create another Amber Rose.
Mm. Now that you say that, there are a lot of similarities that in the appearance that she had towards the end of that relationship. Like, yeah, I can actually see that now. You know, the short haircut, the body build, the style of dress, pretty similar. Only thing different is really the ethnicity, correct?
Yeah. But at the same token, you can't create another of the same person. They have to be who they are before you come into their lives. Like, I never understand that. I never understand that.
Question. So have you before you were in the committed engagement, soon to be marriage that you're in now, have you ever been with anybody that you feel tried to mold or shape you into somebody you weren't? Whether it was a former partner of theirs or whether it was somebody you didn't know, do you feel like they were gradually trying to change you or mold you into something in any way that just wasn't you?
No, I've always been too headstrong for that. Like, even if somebody may have had that thought, they never saw that come to life or come to fruition because I'm not rocking. You have to love me for me, not for who I can be. Like, if you can't love me for me, then it'll never work. It'll never work.
Yeah. Have you faced any? Now, granted, of course, you cut, as you say, you cut it off at the head. But have you ever encountered somebody who was like that, or that you had to kind of just brush off because you noticed that that was the case?
Oh, all the time. I've had plenty of guys who tried to date me, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I really like this, or oh, I really like that, or oh gosh, you making me flashback to some stuff.
Good.
And shoot,
Well,
I've
I know it's from back
had
then.
guys offer to take me shopping because they like a specific look or something
Mm,
like that. But like I said, that doesn't go too far. If it's not something that I want to do, I don't have a problem with saying no. I've
fair
never
enough,
had a
fair enough.
problem with saying no.
So, Blue Phoenix, Star and I were just talking about the recent events involving Mr. Kanye West. Yay, he wants to be referred to as now, and his recent interview with DJ Academics. Are you aware of these things? Of that interview?
No, I have not watched it.
All right. Well, let me give you a little bit of a cliff note here. So, long story short, firstly, when the video even starts and Academics goes to the hotel of which Ye is staying for the moment, the first thing you notice is the jewelry that Kanye has on. He has on a chain, and the pendant is a swastika, basically. And before the interview starts, they're moving furniture and setting stuff up for the interview. They decide to stand up for the interview. He changes into a black KKK outfit, hood and everything, black
Mhm.
KKK outfit, and literally goes on a rampage. He's in a complete uproar, verbally eviscerating every name that was remotely connected to him in any way. Everything from his previous spouse to his current wife, or spoke about a little bit about that relationship. To Amber Rose, Jay-Z, John Legend, like all these things are out there that he spoke about. Now, firstly, just by the description that I gave you, what is your instant reaction? What is your imagination?
First of all, when you said it, I was like, "What? What?"
Are we surprised?
Yeah. So he's a black KKK. So what would that make? What would that be?
You're asking the wrong person.
Is he like how Dave Chappelle was on his show?
At this point, Clayton Bigsby, like,
Yes.
well, at this point, he just may be, because, and granted, I'm just saying that humorously, but I will say this: I don't, the Kanye of the past 10 years is not the Kanye that I was a fan of. I'll say this:
Oh, yeah.
so his ideals, his opinions, or even if these are his opinions, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the symbolism that offends anybody. I definitely don't agree with the KKK outfit. I notice he always does these types of antics when an album is about to drop, and lo and behold, this Bully album
Yeah,
is.
I was just getting ready to say something about.
So yeah, now granted, I haven't checked out the album because I have no desire to personally. So,
I
but
really feel like it's time to just cancel him altogether. Like, let's be open and honest. You're not in a rap battle with nobody. You don't really have beef with anybody. And I thought children was supposed to be off limits. How do you get on a national platform and call Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids retarded?
yeah,
Why
that's
is he
very.
not canceled? All the gimmicks, all the wild stuff that he's saying out of, like, where's his PR team? Somebody
Yeah,
get a rein on
I'm
him.
pretty sure he doesn't probably don't have one now. What I was going to say before when you was mentioning what he had on about the swastika, that meaning because the original swastika is African. So until you mentioned the outfit, I was like, well, maybe that represented that, but he had the black KKK hood and whole attire on.
But
So
even
well,
with
can't even
that,
go there.
and the only reason I don't agree with the swastika, regardless of where it originated, people's blood lies on that symbol. It's still offensive to a culture. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
almost
because the
it's
meaning of
almost
it
this.
has been changed and manipulated. That's why.
Well,
So
yeah, of course. So, but with that being said, that swastika was made to was changed to oppress a specific group of people. It's almost, and I compare it.
well,
I compare it to the Confederate flag. Despite what people try to say the Confederate flag meant, that flag was worn across the chest of those same people who wore those KKK outfits, who ran these lynch mobs and so on and so forth. And they covered the flag and the dead bodies of our ancestors and our great grandparents or whoever was victim of those things. So that
well, now
flag
wait a
was
second.
manipulated.
Wait a second before you get away from the topic. I wanted to see which direction we were going to lean with this topic pertaining to Kanye and his symbolism. What he wore was the original hood and cloak, and originally that was worn by Mason. So that even stolen and made horrible because the KKK then took that outfit, wore it in white sheets and hoods, and it was a symbolism of, there's blood on that too. But originally, that was something that originated from Black people as well. What Kanye had on was what it originally looked like when Black Masons wore it. The question is, does he know this, or is he actually trying to be offensive with these symbols?
Now you know Kanye, though he has issues, he knows exactly what he's doing. And
He knows what he's
that's
doing.
another point I was going to make. Kanye knows a lot of these things, and the way he comes off, it seems as if he's crazy, but then eventually we end up seeing, oh, you know what? That's what it is, or maybe that's what that is. He does things to grasp attention. Now, when it comes to the babies, that's something different. I don't know what the world that was about. But like you said, the symbolism, he knows.
Yeah,
He knows what he's doing.
I don't doubt Kanye's intelligence. Where my problem comes in with Kanye is he proves his intelligence by things like what the swastika was originally created for and what that outfit that he had on was originally created for. But you know how marred it has become. You show your intelligence in one breath, and then you open your mouth and prove that outside of that, you're just an idiot. And that's the problem I have with him. To me, he is Charleston White all over again, except he's not afraid to throw hands. Remember, Charleston White was a highly intelligent, bow tie wearing, button up shirt wearing, trying to, you know what I'm saying? And then he openly said in interviews, I became, excuse me for everybody offended, this ignorant nigga, because that's all y'all listen to. I feel like that's basically what Kanye is doing, and I personally feel like that's whack.
And personally, there's a whole bunch of things that make me lose respect. Like, for one, the reason he also spoke on Kendrick, and the reason he's been trashing Kendrick is Kanye literally admitted he was jealous of him, and that's weak to me. He
does a lot of jealous shit. This beef that he got with Playboi Carti, he literally said he's mad because Playboi Carti took him off the album, but then wanted to put Northwest on it. You hating on your own door.
And that was another reason why he was mad at Kendrick, because Kendrick got put on the album instead of him.
Like I said, shows that he's intelligent with his antics, and then open his mouth and prove that at the core of him, he's still a damn idiot.
And aside from and just like all of the things that all of the spiritual and religious folks would deem as blasphemous, like he claims to be this omnipotent, omnibenevolent being, like saying he's the closest thing to God on earth or something like that. Yeah, ridiculous in my opinion.
But stuff like that don't bother me, honestly, because
it does me. Like, bro, really, who are you? And it bothers me just because of my relationship I have with God.
Right, but wait a minute. Let's find out why
the relationship that you have, because somebody else is saying that, should not falter and it should not bother you. See, that we get a little bit too emotionally connected and we can't see past what somebody else is saying. Ignore the bullshit.
Well, bro, I will tell you this: whether it should or should not, I have a right to be bothered. So we can be bothered by all the other stuff he said. I can say that bothers me.
I think that both of you all have a very valid point. You are valid for saying that it bothers you quick, but Weezy saying ignore it is very valid too. The problem comes in is us as adults, we can choose to ignore it or not. We have to worry about whether these children are ignoring it or not.
Exactly.
Is it affecting them, and is it changing them, and are they feeding into it? But anyway, what else we got quick? Because we can talk about Kanye all damn night. He even gave us for the past 20 years.
Well, speaking of omnibenevolent and so on and so forth, I would like to ask you two ladies a question. When was the last time you two have been to church?
Physically? It's been a couple years physically.
Yeah, just to get the good word. That's just for the reason of like, I just want to get a good word today.
You can look at that online, but physically in the church has been a couple years.
Physically. Yes, physically.
For me, I don't subscribe to church anymore. I'm still
Well,
a believer. Let me put that disclaimer up now for people to be like, oh my God, just start atheist. She is
well,
not.
I well,
I am
well, I
still
get
a
that.
believer.
I get that, but when was the last time you went?
Shh. Just me saying that I don't subscribe to it anymore should tell you that it's been so long, I can't even tell you.
Well, do y'all remember? Well, can I ask you all? Have you all been held hostage in the church before?
I
Nope.
have. I have.
All right. Well, this one should definitely hit home for you because world-renowned gospel artist Marvin Sapp was preaching at a church, and where was it at? It wasn't too far. It wasn't too far from us, actually. I forgot exactly where, but it wasn't too far. Wasn't too far. But when it came down to the offerings, he said to the ushers, "Close the doors. I want everybody here to donate $20. Whether you're donating tangibly or electronically, come to the front. I want to see it. Close the doors." In other words, how I interpret that, nobody leaving. Close the doors. Donate. We got a number to reach.
He told
He
them sit
looks
their
at
ass down.
people on stage and says, and I want everybody on the stage to donate $100 because it costs to sit up here. It costs. So donate. What do we got?
He said it costs to be the doors, and if you up and you better empty them
So
pockets.
in my opinion, I just wanted. I wish I was in that church because as soon as he said close the doors, I would have stood up and said, and then what? Now, granted, donating is one thing, but being told and low key feeling like I'm being forced and held hostage to, that is crazy work. And Blue Phoenix, I see you in the queue twice. I don't know which one is which. Who is who? But I guess hold on. Let me see something. Add the stage. Is this her? Will the real Blue Phoenix please speak? I don't know which one is which.
I don't
Oh,
know
there
what's
she
going
is. So
on.
let me
Yeah,
get rid of this one then.
I don't know what's going on with my phone, but it keeps on kicking me out.
Anyhow, y'all, what do y'all think of never should have made it really meaning I never should have paid it?
That was hilarious. That's what I think. Uh, I think he just got a little too ambitious. Like, I mentioned earlier when you asked us, have you ever been held hostage in the church? I had, he wasn't my pastor, but I was at a church and the pastor had them close the doors and guard the doors because he didn't want anybody to leave without taking communion on the
That's
communion
crazy.
Sunday.
So they forcing y'all to eat the holy crackers?
Yeah. Yeah, he said he didn't want anybody to leave the church that day without being saved or whatever. And one lady, she came to the front and she was like, "Well, I don't know if I believe yet, and this and this and this." And it was wild. I don't want to go deep into it, but seeing the similarities in it, I just feel like Marvin was a little too ambitious on that day. I don't think he meant any harm. He was just overdoing it.
Well, his explanation was that he was trying to collect this money for this church. It wasn't his church, but he was trying to collect the monies for that particular church. And so those who were online were supposed to get 20, those that were in the congregation were supposed to get 20. And like Chris said, everybody up on that pulpit had to come out with a Benjamin because it pays to be up in them high seats.
But all I'm saying is this is my outlook on it. And before I get into Roland Martin, my whole viewpoint on it is, for one, church, the house of God, that's supposed to be free. What if somebody wants to come into church because they down on rough times, they just want a blessing and a good word and so on and so forth? And it's low
Like
key. It low key sounds like extortion when you think of it like that. You know, like
like
some people may just not have it.
what you just said makes me think of, it was a family. I think it was what was his name? Pastor Mark something. A
Right.
family had moved from Canada to join his church. And when the guy told him, he offered the guy $50,000, and the guy turned it down. He said, "I just really want a job. Like if I get a job." So he told him, he was it was so funny because he was trying so hard to say, you know, you don't have to give me that money. And the pastor was like, "Don't block my blessing. I'm gonna give you the 50,000 and a job." So I think it's beautiful when they're actually trying to bless people, but telling people that it costs to sit in the pulpit, I feel like God has a lightning bolt with your name on it just waiting for you. That's how I feel about that
That's
part.
like I said, that's God's house. And you know, and Roland Martin, he's usually, or he has a lot of opinions I agree with, but his view on this I completely disagree with. Because granted, he was defending Marvin Sapp, saying like basically his whole point was like church is a business. You know, they got to keep the lights on, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. And I'm gonna tell you this, my whole response to that is to be honest, Mr. Martin, we don't care. We don't come to church to know about the business of church. We come to church. People come to church to be in fellowship, to pray, to get to have a moment of worship and clarity, and have that moment in fellowship with the Lord. And for real, to be forced or to make it feel like we're being forced to pay, like I said, some people may not have it. We don't come there to talk about business. We come there because we feel like this is a safe space spiritually. And we don't want to hear none of this business mumbo jumbo about it. Because if that's the case, we can get together. The three of us can get together in one space in person with the Bible, and that's church. You know, it's just us and the Lord at that point. If that's what we got to deal with, I'd rather do it that way.
Listen, first of all, God does not view that building as the church. It's the people in the building that is the church that he
I was
speaks of,
just
number
about to
one.
say that.
Facts.
Number two,
So
right. And number two, that's the problem right now. People be so caught up in the business of church that it's not even church anymore. How many churches do you go to where the pastor has the latest car every freaking year, but the church still has a building fund, a this fund, a lights fund, rent parties? Like, can we please stop playing with the Lord?
and
Because when he
also
comes back, he's gonna knock all them bricks down any damn way.
and also the optics of it is crazy. Like Marvin Sapp, someone who has probably a net worth I don't pocket watch, but I'm assuming because he had a hit records, hit albums, hit tours, he's probably worth millions, give or take, is up there telling people to give money.
Which I was getting ready to say too. If you're really trying to get money up for the church that you're preaching at, and it's not for yourself at all, and it's not for the objects of it, then you could have just as quietly wrote a check.
That part.
Right. And then on top of the fact we were talking about the lights and everything, first of all, the tithes and offerings, the love offerings, that goes to the church. That is what that is for. When you give your 10%, that goes into the quote unquote kingdom, that is what that's for. The extra money is for their pockets. Just like,
Oh,
you know,
wait a
in
minute
church,
now.
their church.
I'm sorry, Phoenix. I was gonna say you said that a little backwards. The tithes and offerings is what goes to the church. The love offering
That's
is what you donate when you're trying to give money to the guest preacher. And I still feel like that's wrong too, because I find it strange how people will charge to come preach at a church that's not theirs. You know, it's like, for me,
Crazy.
right, like God is not for sale. He never has been, and he doesn't like that. So for you, to whoever you are, I don't care if you're a celebrity or not, if you're invited to come to a church and you have the time to do it, and you say, "Oh, well, my booking fee is such and such and such," you dead damn wrong anyway
Yeah.
from the start.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Jesus run in the temple lashing folks?
He flipped the table.
Exactly.
He flipped the table on them, and that's
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I say it's called
So
a
yeah,
tithing offering. It's for the
selling
church.
the word basically.
Yeah, I feel you. I just it's just disgraceful to me. And I'm gonna tell you why it's disgraceful to me. If you actually believe in that book that you study and that you read from, that book says that the Lord will always provide. So why are you deciding to charge the Lord's people to hear you talk about that very book that they studied themselves? It's like I don't know the word for it right now because I'm getting emotional about it, but it's a load of BS. I feel like you're basically telling people to not trust the book that you're reading from. If he's going to provide, why do you need the people's money? Ain't he going to make sure that you eat? And he gonna make sure that your lights is on, and he gonna make sure your family is taken care of. So why are you asking for money for people from people that are poorer than you?
And also, when talking about church and people going to church and why people go to church, don't you dare come to anybody talking about business. Church is a
Hold on,
business.
quick. You going out?
Can you hear me now?
Not really,
It
no.
sounds like you got a call that came in.
Oh, well, this ain't because I can't hear. But anyhow, give me a second because I got a point to make. Continue.
I just, I mean, Phoenix, you tell me. You hear what it is that I'm saying. Like, am I on the wrong path with my thinking about how that's wrong or
Well,
how that's
it's spiritual.
contradictory?
It's spiritual manipulation, and like you said, people can feel like I thought that we are supposed to be provided for. That's what the Bible says. So it is spiritual manipulation, which causes a lot of people to leave the church eventually
Can you hear
because
me now, ladies?
Yeah,
yes,
we hear you.
they see the
So yeah,
pastor.
all I will say is like, especially when it comes to church, don't you dare come to anybody talking about church being a business. Because trust me, we don't come to church for that and we don't care. If it ain't about God and spreading fellowship, love, in the word, we don't want to hear
If church is a business, then pay taxes.
that
And all
part.
of them churches are 501c3, which means they don't pay taxes. So it's not a business; it's a charity.
Boom.
It's a what it was.
And
Yeah.
and then not only that, let's be all the way honest. If you own a mega church and you don't own at least one shelter, maybe one school, then you operating wrong anyway. And for the record, before I shut up about this topic, the Bible also tells you that when you give in front of an audience, you have already received your reward. Everybody looked at you. So all of that grandstanding that they be doing, you ain't reaping no blessings from that. Yes, he loves a cheerful giver, but he's talking about actually taking care of his people. So when you stand up there, like, I can't stand it. The people that want to film themselves giving the homeless people something, you doing it for likes and clicks. That's all you're gonna get from that is your likes and clicks. That money is not coming back to you. You're not extending your life. There is no blessing at the end of that because you did it just for show. And inside of a church is no different.
Yep.
Super, super facts. Now, question: what do you think do you think this affects the brand of Marvin Sapp?
I think
It
it
will.
affects.
I'm sure it has tarnished something. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was actually getting ready to say what you said. I think it affects him to the people that matter, basically his
Mhm.
fans, people that listen to him, because his peers, you feel me, they do the similar SHIT all the time. So they're not going to find nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, what he did. But the reality of it is the one person that it matters what he did, which is the God that he claims to serve, oh, it definitely did something. And I feel for him when God comes to collect on that debt.
Woo-wee. Well, well. All I know is that that video definitely made me look at him a little different because that looked like live extortion to me. That definitely looked like live extortion.
You know, the great thing that I have learned over the years, because I was a church kid. I grew up in church, my family church, church. And you was talking about being held hostage. No, not by pastor, but by my family. We would be in church sun up to sundown. But the thing is,
Mhm.
I have learned to not look at them other than anything but a man.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
we make mistakes. We're not perfect. There's no perfect being. So this is not shocking to me. He operated in his ego, which we all do, but his ego was way bigger, and it didn't surprise me at all. Not at all.
Let me tell you, the first church that I can remember going to, I was about 5 years old. Okay, and it was a little bitty church. It was ran down in there. I never saw it get renovated. I never even saw them get new curtains or new pews. Like everything was falling apart. The hymn books, the Bibles, all of that. And they had a building fund. You know, they needed to pay the lights and pay the rent and stuff. So they sold cakes and
Mhm.
pies. You can buy it by the slice or you can order a whole cake. But guess what? That pastor, I don't even remember his name, but I remember that he had a putt car that was broken down every day on Sunday, every Sunday after church, because he would give me a ride home because I lived around the corner and I was the youngest member in the church. He would
Mhm.
have to lift that hood and get to tinkering under there. Those little local men in the neighborhood, the little street mechanics, never charged him any money, but they would get over there and they would help Pastor get his car started so that he could take home whoever needed to go. And I remember there was times where people would be still in the church around 6 o'clock because they would have security stay with the people inside the church, have them lock the doors, and Pastor would take his time making sure every member who did not have a ride or did not have money to get on public transportation made sure that they got home. He was an older pastor, and so was his wife. And they had building funds and love offerings and all of that. But I never once saw any proof that they were spending that money on themselves. Never saw any proof that that money was going into their own pockets. The
Mhm.
stores, right? The stores in the neighborhood, the little corner store that I used to love to go to, uh, the grocery store was Associates, the carryouts, the Jamaican store, all of them were giving money to the pastor and his wife. And that's how
Mhm.
they were surviving and living. They didn't have no big extravagant jewels, none of that stuff. That's what I knew church to be. It was still
Right.
standing because of the love of God and the love of each other.
Mm.
I feel bad for this generation because they're never going to experience that.
Because now everything is about prosperity. That's what they preach now, prosperity, prosperity. But if you go by the Bible and you go by the book, Jesus never walked around like that. He was very humble, though he had all the power. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna go
Yep.
off the Bible, so if you're supposed to be a follower of Christ and you're living Christ like, then all that extra stuff is null and void because you ain't supposed to have it.
And I'm glad you said that because that right there is the
Mm.
problem. We're all supposed to be striving to be Christ like, not striving to be Christian. There was
That's
no
fact.
Christianity when he was around. If we're being honest, he bucked against religion, and that's why they hated him so bad.
Mm.
He wasn't with that organized mess.
Religion is nothing but control.
Whew. That one got pretty heavy, but no, you're right
It
because
did.
yeah, it got. I mean, because it's a very very big subject because it's all right. I will say this one and this is probably where I land my plane, and I've said this before, and I'll say it many times going forward. And actually, Phoenix, you touched on it a little bit. When it comes to these people of the cloth, some churches put these folks on too high of a pedestal, and it makes me question who they actually follow. Do you follow God, or do you follow your pastor, or do you follow your pastor? who do you really follow, and so on and so forth? Because at the end of the day, stop holding your pastors or priests or whoever to these omnibenevolent standards, because at the end of the day, once church is over, they go in the back, they take that robe or that collar off, and they'll go out and do flawed human stuff just like you and I, just to be right back in church on Sunday.
Let me tell you something. The pastor can lead you straight to hell. I'm not the type to put names out there or nothing like that, but I know of a pastor who is still a pastor, still has his own church. He's married. He has 2 or 3 kids with his wife, and there's 4 other kids in that same church that look just like him. Actually think about that and take that in. And this is not gossip. This is fact.
This is common.
Right.
This is common because
Exactly.
man, that's the
4
problem.
other kids that are younger than the kids he have with his wife. And don't get me wrong, everybody make mistakes. And once you become a pastor, that doesn't automatically make you perfect. So I'm not, leaning into that. What I am saying though is you put too much on it. You don't leave your eternal, never gonna die soul in the hands of a man who can very well be standing next to you in hell for the sins that he committed.
Super fast.
What else we got? Because I'm getting hot. Shoot. Y'all do this to me at least once every show. Some topic that's gonna set me off.
No, we get the best content out of you when you upset.
Man, that right there. Listen, that topic, not to tell all my own business, but that topic hits so close to home for me. I just
I do want to ask you all a question. Not really a question. Before I even get to that, another little bit of pop culture here. Now, granted, I actually found out about this news last week, but as you all know, we actually took the week off last week. So, and this has been confirmed, so it's not really alleged. So it has been confirmed that at an event, I forgot which event it was, but it was formal. Daytime talk show host Sherri Shepherd apparently had a heated confrontation with a world-renowned award-winning actress by the name of Nia Long. Apparently, what the story entails is that at some point in time or another, whether it was on the show or whether it was on some other platform at some other point in time, Miss Sherri Shepherd allegedly, now this is the part that's alleged, she allegedly may have said some shady or some shady things or some things that were deemed offensive to Nia Long, according to Nia Long. So Nia Long saw Sherri Shepherd at and Sherri Shepherd actually told this story on her show and left the actress in question, Nia Long, anonymous. Nia Long apparently walked up on her, grabbed her by her arm, and spun her around, and got up face to face with her and expressed her grievances. So firstly, on the outside looking in, just what are we thinking, ladies? Talk to me here.
Let me start, Phoenix, right quick, because I don't have any inside knowledge, but just by the way Sherri described it, I knew it was Nia Long. I swear to y'all, I just knew it.
How did you know?
Other people have had, I don't want to say confrontations, that might not be the right word, but encounters with Nia Long, similar, where they say Nia has accused them of shading her or saying something about her, and they're looking crazy like, what are you talking about? Because she assumed and she just noticed she right, and they're like, no, you're not. But shout out to Jason Lee for putting her name out there, because that is who told us all that it was Nia Long. Sherry did leave her anonymous. Go
Mm.
ahead, Phoenix, because I want to talk about what Sherry said she did in response to that. You go
Oh,
first,
yeah.
Phoenix.
I knew it was gonna be her too, because she a little thug.
Low
Thank
key.
you. Look, unnecessarily though at times, but go ahead, Phoenix.
No, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, let
All
me
right,
jump
Star, what
into.
you got? What's on these Hollywood streets? Tell us something.
So, and look, y'all can't see me, but I'm waving my hand in the air, swiveling my neck, ghetto girl style, because this was funny to me. Sherry, after she told everybody what the anonymous person did, she said she from Chicago. So at intermission, she went and stood in the bathroom and was waiting because she wanted to ask her what's up. And then I noticed
Ooh.
in the comments though, and this is what got me because I didn't think about it like that at first. A commenter said, well, if you didn't tell her that you was gonna wait in the bathroom to fight, what your ass was standing in the bathroom for? Sound like you was hiding to me. I
That's a good
died.
point. Did she
I
say meet me
died.
in the bathroom?
She did not. And that's what made me, and don't get me wrong. I don't think Sherry was hiding. You feel me? Because if that was even her attitude, then that meant that she was prepared for anything. But if your first thought was to go have a meeting in the ladies' room, how you gonna tell the person that you want the meeting with to meet you in the ladies' room?
Right.
I mean, I would figure she would have told her that when she got spun around.
Hey Phoenix, I got a problem with you. And I ain't telling you where to meet me at, but after I tell everybody else where I was waiting at.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Sherry Shepherd said that she felt someone grab her arm and spin her around. Correct?
She definitely did say that.
All right. So I figured after Nia spun her around and said whatever she said, how she said it, that would have been the time to dish out the invitation.
But she probably was trying to
Well,
maintain
go
her
ahead.
composure. She probably was trying to maintain her composure and not make a scene.
But at the
But
same time, what's the point? What's the point of saying? What's the point of quote unquote waiting in the bathroom if you're the only one who know you in there?
exactly my point. But outside of that, let's go back to Phoenix saying that she probably was trying to keep her composure. They were at a Hollywood event. You feel me? There's red carpet, there's paparazzi around in the whole 9 yards. So I can understand you not making a scene. But you would have known that I had a problem with what you did because when you grabbed me and spun me, I'd have snatched my arm from you aggressively just to let you know. You feel me? By the time paparazzi turn around and start snapping pictures, we would just be looking like we standing there talking. But you yourself would have known that I had a problem with what you just did.
Yep, sure would.
For daggone sure, if I wanted to talk to you in the ladies' room, I'd have smiled real sweetly for the camera. I'd have been like, turn around. We'd have smiled next to each other while the paparazzis take pictures. And then I'd have made sure to lean over in her ear and tell her at intermission, meet me in the ladies' room. We could have locked that door and it could have been whatever it was going to be. And
So
I'd
it
have
would
adjusted
have.
my wig, picked you up off the floor, and went back to the play.
So it would have turned into a climax song very quick.
Listen, like I just said,
Meeting in the ladies'
when
room.
it was over, I would have
Exactly.
adjusted my wig. I'd have picked her up off the floor, and I'd have went back to my seat.
Mm.
And
Weezy,
Nia, if you listening, I'm from Brooklyn too, so I ain't scared.
where's Nia Long from?
I said Brooklyn too.
Well, I didn't, but I couldn't, but I didn't know if you were talking about her or Sherry.
Okay, so some more. Well, Sherry says she's from Chicago.
Oh,
It's either Nia or her sister, comedian Samore. One of them is from New York, and I believe that is Nia, which is why I made that comment being funny.
I forgot they were sisters. I for,
Yeah, they have the same father.
I completely forgot. That makes sense though.
Who sisters?
Nia Long and some more, the comedian.
Oh yeah.
Man, but whew, you know how mad you gotta be at somebody to just walk up on them and just spin them, like spin them around.
Yes.
Apparently this the year of confrontation because
Apparently,
got confronted by LeBron, and now Sheridan got confronted.
Whoa, we got yeah.
All I can say,
Let's follow up on that because we did speak on that, but apparently, when asked to transition over to that, when Stephen A. Smith further got into detail about the confrontation, he said that if LeBron had put his hands on him, he would have swung on him. Now, granted, that's the only part I heard. I think he said even though he knew he would have got beat, he would have swung on him. I think that's what he said. But the main part of the story, because I didn't see the whole clip, I'll be the first to admit that. But he's saying what he would have done had it got physical. Thoughts?
I respect a man that's honest.
Facts.
Shoot, I would have swung on his big ass too. You want to bring your big body over in front of me, and you think I?
All right. Well, I'll say, and granted, I'll say this: I personally respect it because, granted, win, lose, or draw, I'm willing to take an L.
You gonna feel something?
I'm willing because I'm not afraid to. Because, granted, you win. What Pop say? You win some, you lose some, you fight another day. But put your hands on me in that stadium and so on and so forth. I'm taking a lick at you. I'm taking a hit at your chin. Your chin is gonna get your chin's getting touched. Now, whether you're 6'8" or 6'9", 6'10", however tall LeBron is, win, lose, a draw, I'm not just gonna let you put your hands on me.
Agreed. Really agreed. And speaking of putting hands on people, you didn't ask me at the beginning of the show, pop culture. To me, this is
do we got more stuff? By all means, let's we got 30 some we got 20 some odd minutes left. Unleash on them. Start.
I want to say before I get into who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about, ladies, when a capable man has sent a death threat to you, please take it serious. And I do feel like I disagree with people who say, why did you bring it to the internet and didn't call the police? But I firmly believe that you should do both. So this week, Cardi B went live and she is going off about Offset. Offset has a new girlfriend that he has moved into their marital home. The girl keeps going live, calling herself stunting on Cardi, calling Cardi, playing on her phone, all types of wild stuff. But what stuck out to me the most is Cardi saying that Offset threatened to kill her and himself, murder suicide type stuff. I don't care how funny you find it. I don't even care if you don't believe him. If somebody tells you that they will kill you and themselves, ladies and gentlemen, because women do it too, please take that as a serious threat and inform the authorities.
Yeah, definitely. And because I don't take stuff like that lightly. I lost one of my favorite cousins who's near and dear to me and the rest of the family last year to that with her spouse. So yeah, I don't play with stuff like that.
It's really unfortunate that we live in a time where people who are being harmed in any kind of way, verbally or physically, don't feel comfortable reaching out anyway because the internet is not a real place. You have people who will laugh at your pain, people who will clown you, people who will say it's good for you, people who will tell you that you should kill yourself. Bullying is at an all-time high. But if someone has no problem saying that to you, they could probably do it. And you should really take that seriously. Do not ever take something like that lightly. There is plenty of women gone off the face of this earth right now because they did not believe their significant other. And as a matter of fact, there are plenty of men who are gone. What was his name? No, Botham Jean was the cop. But the guy that had the girlfriend, and she was abusing him, and
Right.
only a
I know
few
who you
select
talking
people knew. Right, and then she claims, "Oh, I was cleaning my gun and it went off." Listen,
about.
when
Man,
somebody throws those kind of threats at you, anybody, male, woman, child, believe them. Alert the proper authorities, and then tell as many people around you as you can, so that in the event, sadly, if you do go missing, people know already to go to the police and to be looking for you.
mm,
That hurt my heart to see that she said that. It really, really did, because here you are, you're two celebrities, and you're ready to ruin as many lives as possible because you couldn't stop cheating and she decided she didn't want you. So you're going to ruin the lives of your children that you have with her. You're going to ruin the lives of your children that you have with other women that fell in love with her. You're going to ruin your life, the lives of your family, her life, the lives of her family. And then both of you all have millions of fans.
hmm
And you're ready to risk it all because she didn't want you to keep doing her wrong. Y'all, it at some point in time, it needs to stop.
I mean, yeah, that's yeah. It shouldn't have even got like. At what point is it? I mean, right now, if the line wasn't there before, it's already there now. It was already crossed with this. Mm,
And you know,
Horrible.
the thing that they might not even take her seriously because she left, left and went back, and that's one of the unfortunate things that happen when it comes to women or even men too. When you leave a relationship that you know isn't right, or you leave a relationship and then you go back, people don't take you seriously, but they don't understand the concept or the things that you go through emotionally, mentally, physically when you are dealing with someone of that nature. It's almost like an addiction, or you feel trapped. And so they may not take her seriously. And if something happened to her, then all of a sudden, oh my God, rest in peace. She did say this, she did say that, but no one's listening. So, like you said,
and
take it serious. She really needs to get somewhere safe.
and for real, speaking of taking it serious, if you look up the stats of abuse and abusive relationships, or when it comes from in accordance to women and men in comparison, the numbers aren't accurate because in actuality there are far a lot more men than it actually shows in those stats. Problem is, the problem is, as you all know, a lot of men don't report these things
Of course,
with
because people
with
laugh
the
at
fear of being made fun of, ridiculed, so on and so forth. And that this and for real, this always, and this also goes back to the story I told y'all like a long time ago, a while ago, in one of my I want to say it was it was either one of my sociology or no, it was one of my psychology courses where we were looking up abuse victims, and then one of them was a man. The abusive wife, took a machete to his back, and the dude looked like Wolverine got at him. All the girls in the class were snickering, like, "Well, shoot, what did he do to make him mad, or make her mad, or something like that?" And it was the most disgusting thing. I said something. Now, granted, I forgot what I said, but I said my
remember.
piece on like the disgust I was feeling, because granted, when this man is literally abused, he literally has 10 gashes on his back that are like fucking. See, and it makes me so mad. I rarely, and I don't even curse on there, but it made me like each of these gashes were literally like 8 inches wide a piece and whatnot. Cause like she took a freaking sword to his back, and these girls are literally trying to find a way to justify that woman did it for a valid reason. Whether it was joking or not, I don't find nothing funny about
Yeah, I don't like that either. That whole, well, what did he do? And I have to say it that way because most often when a man is speaking out, you see more of, well, what did he do? Well, what did you do? Than as opposed to when a woman is the one speaking out. And abuse is not okay for anybody, male or female. And that should never be your response. Well, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
The world we live in is so desensitized. We lack genuine empathy. And it's sad.
Well, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, there's
I was just about to ask you that.
what to lighten the mood.
Yes, to give us a more lighthearted topic.
Well, how about this? I was actually gonna talk about us because there's a whole lot for us to be and for followers of ours to be excited for because of everything we got going on this year.
Amen. Let's do it.
Well, why don't you just, without spilling the beans, how excited should they be? Like, what should they expect?
Okay, without spilling the beans, I will say vampires, assassins, exorcisms, uh, a lot of
Dang,
suspense,
that sounds like my family reunion.
superpowers, music. Man, we got a lot coming up, and it's a comedy. Like it's not gonna stop with us. It's like the brakes are broken, and the train will not be derailed. That's what I can say about what we have coming up for everybody. Phoenix, what about you?
Also,
What you
don't
want?
forget, we have a comedy event coming April 23rd.
Oh, yeah, don't forget that.
$3. And you can come and get your laugh on. There will be a bar, cash bar. We're gonna
420 friendly.
Yep, 420 friendly. I believe we're gonna have food vendors there. But come on out, get your laugh on.
Musical guests too, as well. You'll see us there. We will be in attendance and all that good stuff. So
Yes, come meet us face to face. Come party with us. Get a handshake. Get a good laugh. Get a good high if that's your thing.
Yeah, we're getting
Let your
into a
ears.
whole lot of things. We also getting into the fragrance game. Be the first to get an exclusive sample of shooting sandalwood.
I can't stand you. As soon as you said fragrance, I just knew.
Yeah. And also, there's another sample coming out called Blue Levitation.
You know,
No, there's a new drink coming out called Blue Levitation, and I'm gonna be the bartender to serve that.
That too. It's a drink and a fragrance. You know, if you act at the event, you'll get a sample of both.
you gotta be careful what you promise her.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
And the fragrance in the fragrance Blue Levitation has been literally pulled from a single armpit hair of the blue phoenix in a laboratory to create.
Oh hell no! Tell him don't come for you. He said armpit hair. Get him.
well, yeah. Hey, you don't want me to tell them where we got the sandalwood scent from.
You know what? I had a very good comeback for that, but I'm just gonna keep it in the back pocket.
Yes, we are some entrepreneurs. And what was the word of 2024? We are very demure.
Very mindful, very demure.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, oh. How rude. Since we got 10 minutes left, I would like to have us spend these last few minutes before we close out to give props where all kind of props is due. We would like to give a huge, thunderous, and remarkable shout out to a past guest on this show, a friend of the show. I would like to shout out Mini Producer and his significant other, because since they've been on the show, they have acquired their own reality show on the TLC network that is doing wonderful right now. So I want to shout out my guy, Mini Producer. Fantastic guy. It's fantastic person. We are going to have you back on the show very,
Yeah.
very, very, very soon, my friend. And congratulations to you and your significant other, my guy. Anybody, do you ladies want to say anything to Mini Producer?
I want to say that they are so silly. The clips I be watching, I be cracking up. So it's good to see him on screen and be able to show his personality. And of course, we never got to speak with his wife, but just seeing her on, just to see their personalities, it's really cool to see that, be a witness.
No dead air. No dead air. No,
Yeah.
but seriously, I am excited to have him back on. Unfortunately, I was not able to be on the night that Mini Producer was interviewed. So I look forward to being at Spin the Block time.
Oh yeah, of course. And one thing I know about Mini Producer, it is impossible to be in a bad mood when you're talking to that guy. I swear that like it is literally impossible not to be in a very great mood when he's around. Like, despite how little he is, he has an energy that is 7 feet tall. So that is fire. So yeah, so Mini Producer, my guy, we'll be talking it up soon. And like I said, we got to get you back on the show and so on and so forth soon. Congratulations on everything you all have been doing. And everybody, y'all can check out the previous interview with Mini Producer on the No Filter Show YouTube. Make sure you all subscribe. Just go on YouTube and search the No Filter Show RVTV, and you'll see all of our previous shows, clips, the whole 9 yards. Make sure y'all check us out. And plus, we got a new way of presenting this show for you coming soon. It's all about elevation, and the takeover is finna come. So on that note, y'all already know these vibes. It is your boy K Quick. You know it's the real K Quick everywhere. Make sure you go to imkquick.com. That's imk-quick.com for everything K Quick. You know the vibes. More with Red Vision Cinema coming soon. More with No Filter coming soon. Also, the movie Water is on YouTube. Excuse me, not YouTube. Tubi. It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime, and the official soundtrack for the movie will be dropping April 8th, along with the first single, and also off of the soundtrack, and as well as my official first single of 2025 of the same namesake, Water. That's dropping on the same day, April 8th. So holla at us. Red Vision Cinema. Shout out to Angle 45 Media as well. You know the vibes. It's the No Filter Show. Yeah. Ladies.
But you said a lot, and it was all good. I am the Blue Phoenix. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a very interesting conversation. A lot of feelings there, but a lot of truths told. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you too for being here. And good night.
And as always, I'm your girl, Just Star. And from now on, don't catch me in traffic. But if you find me on the dance floor, I probably got my boots on the ground. Mwah.
And her fan in her hand.
Pow, pow, pow.
And probably some icy hat from when she's finished.
Oh, you got me bent. I got Megan knees. Don't play with me.
I had to slide one in there. Anyways, folks, until next Thursday, keep it locked. Yeah.